Thank you for calling Franklin Township in Somerset County, New Jersey. Press 9 for all other departments.
9. I didn't hear all the options.
Press 1 for assessor. Press 2 for fire prevention. Press 3 for the township manager.
Wait while I transfer your call.
Fire prevention.
Hi there. I called over the weekend. I left a voicemail about an issue that luckily the fire prevention department did take care of Monday morning, at some point Monday morning. And I was just wondering if you can give me any more information about that. Like, did you give them a fine for what they did?
Oh, I'm not sure. I could give you to John House, the director, who probably took care of it. But I don't have that information.
Okay. Did the fire prevention department have the ability to give a fine?
We do.
And so I guess I could talk to John about this, but maybe like, if you have a problem like this, and I don't know if you've heard the video recording of the manager. I was talking to the manager about it, and he says that he always keeps that door locked. So, like, would the fine reflect however many days they've had that door locked? Or would it just be a one-time fine?
I doubt it, because we wouldn't be able to prove how many days the door has been locked.
Well, you might not be able to prove it, but you could think to ask it, and if they give you that information, then fine them.
Yeah,
based
but
on
that's
that.
the fine doesn't work on how long it's been like that. It's just probably a standard fine.
So just a
something
one-time
like that.
fine, even if they've been doing this to the people of Franklin Township for years. It's just the day you get caught, you pay one fine on that day
Well,
for that
we
day.
have an inspector that goes in and inspects yearly.
Mhm. So it would be like 6 months,
Unless
huh?
there's a complaint, we would, if it's okay when we go there, I mean, there's not much else we could do on a daily basis unless somebody's calling and complaining like you did, and we followed up on the complaint and took care of it. But on a daily basis for something like Burger King, we can't really be going out there every single day to check on it like a police officer.
Right. That
You know what
that
I'm
leads me to
saying?
my next question. So, like, if an establishment open to the public in Franklin Township had a fire code violation like locking the auxiliary emergency exit door, they would not get a fine if they just do that at 3:30 p.m. and remember to undo that by 7:30 the next weekday, right? Because you don't have a 24-hour person that could do an inspection after 3 p.m. on weekdays.
Our inspectors are here until 5:30.
Okay, so at 5:30, that's when they can start their fire code violations, and then 7:30 in the morning, that's when they have to undo them.
Yeah, but sir, not every town has a fire inspector on duty every hour, 24 hours a day.
Right. Yours is one of those towns that doesn't. But also, I
don't
called.
believe any town has a fire inspector on duty 24/7.
Well, in your town, I called the Township of Franklin Police Department to address this because it's a public safety concern. And the first sergeant I spoke with, Sergeant Almora, he told me that because Franklin Township is paying for fire protection from 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. on weekdays, he was not going to do the work of the fire protection. But you have your job, and everyone else has their job, their salary, their pension if you get a pension after a certain
so
time.
we enforce it when we're on,
Do you agree with me that that's a problem, that that's not in the interest of public safety? You hear what I'm saying about the weekend, people are vulnerable, and there's no one in law enforcement to enforce a threat to public safety, like if you lock the auxiliary emergency exit door.
Okay, well, if this might be something
You
would want to
understand what I'm saying, though?
This is way over my pay grade, sir.
Well,
So let me,
yes. With all due
put you
respect,
through
you have any pay grade because you haven't. This question has not been posed. So can you just agree? Like, it's obvious.
I'm not going to agree with you for anything.
Or do you understand what I'm saying? That
putting me on the spot, and that's not my job. So I'm
but
gonna
you
give
get
the
paid to do this
director.
job, so you're not even going to ask the question. You're just going to happily collect your paycheck. All right. So what is John's number, please?
His number is the same number, but his extension is 6305.
All right.
and
What's your name, please?
My name's Rachel.
Rachel. All right. Only Rachel that works for fire protection?
I am, sir.
All right. Well, Rachel, you have something to think about. Thank you very much. Go ahead and laugh, Rachel. You're really
What do
laughing.
I have to think about? Okay.
Excuse me, Rachel, do you need me to tell you again that the people of Franklin
You're being
Township...
extremely rude, sir.
No, you're laughing at me, and I'm just telling you this
I'm
serious
not
thing for
laughing
you to
at
think about.
I'm laughing at the fact that you're telling me something that is extremely rude. So
It's
I'm
not
gonna-
rude. You are the one who are
rude.
you are saying to the people of Franklin Township that you have your job because
I
you
am
care,
I live
because
in
you
Franklin
care.
Township,
Yes,
so
yes,
don't talk
and
to me about that.
you
don't
are
even
saying-
live in Franklin Township.
You are
So,
saying to the people of Franklin Township that you care about public safety, but I'm
I
pointing
do
out
care.
that because you have your position, they are not protected on the weekends or after 5:30 p.m. on the weekdays, and you have your
So
job.
Are you telling me you would like me, since I work for the township, you would like me to go out there in the middle of the night and check the door?
I would like for someone who works for someone who works for Franklin Township 24/7, because at 5:30 p.m. if you want to violate, for example,
the police department, and if they told you they weren't going to do it, what would you like me to do about that?
I would like you to point out to the Township of Franklin that this is not in the interest of public safety for people in
How
Franklin.
about you tell the police department that? That's not my problem.
You are collecting a paycheck, so you have more of a
Yes,
moral
I do collect a
obligation.
paycheck, but I get
You have
paid
more of a
for
moral
37
obligation.
hours.
You have
Okay,
more of a
I'm
moral
gonna
obligation than I do. If you do not, that is corruption on your part. It is not corruption on my part if I don't go to the Franklin Township board
Okay,
board
I'm
meeting.
done.
Do you
I'm gonna
understand
speak
that,
to the
Rachel?
director. You can speak to the director.
Do you understand that issue of corruption, Rachel? Do you understand? That's corruption, that you're telling me that I have more of an obligation than you do because you collect a paycheck.
That's corruption? Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to give you to the director. You can
Think
speak
about
to
it,
him
Rachel.
about this.
Think about
I
it.
will think about it.
Thank you.
You reached John House in the Franklin Township Fire Prevention Department. I'm unavailable to take your call. Please leave a message and I'll return your call. Thank you.
Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press pound for more options.
Hello, Mr. House. This is Eric Antisel. I'm calling because I discovered a problem, an issue that was threatening life of people in the Burger King in Franklin
Burger
Township
King,
on Route
Route
27.
27,
And I
Somerset.
discovered this at about 4 p.m.
See that sign?
And on your website, it says that your office is not in at 3:30 p.m. I just spoke with Rachel, and she told me that there's an inspector who's on duty till 5:30 p.m. on weekdays. So I called because I saw 3:30 p.m. That's when no one will be in the office to take my call. I called the Franklin Police Department, and I said that this manager at this Burger King says that they always keep the auxiliary emergency exit door locked. They intentionally keep it locked all the time, and I had that on tape. I put it on Twitter at Eric Antisel, ERIC anti-cell SELL, and there was no one in Franklin Township who was dedicated to preserving life and property in your community after 5:30 p.m. on Friday. So Saturday went by with this threat to life because they were locking the auxiliary emergency exit door. Nothing on Sunday, and then on Monday, finally, someone, representing Franklin Township Fire Protection went there. But there is no one who is working no one in 24/7 law enforcement would address this because you, Mr. House, and Rachel, who I just spoke with, collect paychecks in order to be part of the fire prevention department. So because there's a fire prevention department, the police officer I spoke with, Sergeant Almora, told me he would not address this. He said that's an issue for fire prevention. So at what time of day? So I asked Rachel. So basically, you're telling me that if you want to have a fire prevention violation, you just have to do it at 5:30 p.m. on the weekday, and remember to undo it before 7:30 a.m. on the next weekday. So you do it on Friday at 5:30 p.m. And the weekend, that's a time when people go out to bars and restaurants and maybe over capacity. It might not be safe to be in that building. You'll have a stampede and people dying if it fills up with smoke or something. So you have your job, Mr. House, and this is not in the interest of public safety. unless you want to have somebody who is on call 24/7, because the other thing is on the weekends, that's when the bars fill up, and that's when they're liable to have a fire code violation where it's not in the interest. So I think it's corruption, Mr. House, if you do not point this out to the Township of Franklin. That, I mean, why do we need? I understand you need somebody with expertise to check the fume detectors, carbon monoxide and smoke. I understand that, but why can't I call the police department and say, look, they have obstructed this emergency exit? I don't think you need all of these people working 7:30 to 3:30 p.m. weekdays. Something needs to change, Mr. House, and I'm calling upon you to point this out. And Rachel told me, you, Eric, you point this out. It's not her job to do it. She told me that, and I have a recording of it. And that is corruption. That is bold-faced corruption, because I'm pointing this out. She works for public safety, and I pointed out how your existence as an entity is making us less safe, because it's only it's not a 24-hour protection. So I pointed this out to her. Anybody?
To send this message, press pound or hang up. Play it. 3. To re-record it. 4.
Hello, Mr. House. This is Rachael. I'm calling because I discovered a problem, an issue that was threatening life and of people with the Burger King in Franklin Township on Route 27, and I discovered this at about 4 p.m. And on the website it says that your office is not in at 3:30.